What's up, everybody? So this is a shoot interview. I think Steve Austin, he either did it on his podcast or he was a guest on Ric Flair's podcast. Because I remember Ric Flair being in this interview. Anyway, he's going to talk about Kevin Owens, meeting Kevin Owens before Kevin Owens was actually called Kevin Owens. But anyway, here's a clip about Steve Austin talking about Kevin Owens.
I'll give you a story.
Yeah.
A long time ago, when I was still active in the ring, I was on the road somewhere. I think we were in Canada. I was about to get on an airplane. And this kid comes up behind me. It was Kevin Owens, him and another guy. He goes, "Hey, Stone Cold." He goes, "My name is Kevin Owens. I just want to know, I'm in the business a couple of years. Can you give me any advice?" And he started telling me about all the offensive moves that he was doing, stuff like that. And I said, "Kid," I said, "you need to stop doing all those crazy moves and learn how to run your mouth." I said, "You need to learn how to cut a promo." And Kevin Owens is a student of the game. Now he cuts one of the best promos in the business, and he got my attention with his promo. So he's a guy that's had a career that many would love to have. He's been in it over 20 years, longer than I have, and it's gonna be an interesting challenge.
Okay, so after listening to that, I was skeptical, on whether or not this was true or not. I kind of thought that the part where he was meeting him in the airport was true, but this whole telling him he needs to learn how to cut a promo, I thought was kind of weird. But then I found this clip. Kevin Owens confirms it. So let me play a little bit of this clip.
That was, man, that's something that defined my career. It really did. And it sounds like almost an exaggeration to say that my career might have never turned out the way it did without that meeting, but it's really true. I met him, for those that haven't heard the story, I met him in 2005 in an airport in Texas. Sami Zayn and I were connecting on our way to a PWG show.
I figured it would have been Sami Zayn with him. Figured that was going to be who it was. They were on their way to a PWG show. Man, I lived in LA back in 2005, and I wish I had gone to PWG shows back then. I only went to one. I should have went to all of them, but oh well.
People can question the validity of that story because of the name I said, and he was never in PWG. That doesn't make sense.
He's going to watch.
But exactly. He'd carry my bags over there. So the story is actually really funny. I remember, so we were connecting, and it was our second connection because, we'd get the prettiest flights, the cheapest flights possible. And we had driven, from Montreal to Albany, New York, which was about 3.5 hour drive. We drove in, the middle of the night. We hadn't slept. Then we fly to I don't know where, maybe Chicago, and then connection into Texas, and then finally to LA. We're exhausted. And we're on the connection. We're walking to our gate, and then I walk to get a drink of water, and I see out of the corner of my eye, I see Stone Cold, clearly kind of trying to be on his own, but not. So I'm like, man, I have to talk to him. This is literally my idol. I have to talk to him. So I go back over to Sammy and I go, "Hey," and I don't want to alert everybody, So I'm like, hey. And he looks at me. I go, "Come on, we're gonna go talk to Stone Cold." And he's like, "What? Come on, get your ass over here." So he follows me, and I don't know how he got. I said, "We're gonna go talk to Stone Cold." He thought I said, "Let's go fight these guys." So as we're walking toward Austin, he goes, Who are we fighting?" I'm like, "What? What?" He goes, "What are you?" And I go, "We're not gonna go fight. We're gonna go talk to Stone Cold Steve Austin." And he looks, he goes, "That's not Oh, it is." So we walk up to him. And we introduced ourselves. We said we're independent wrestlers on our way to California for a show. He was super, so nice, very, very friendly. We shot a little bit about just, the business and how the independents work and stuff like that. Because obviously I haven't been on the independent scene in quite a while. And then they called the first class passengers. Of course, Mr. Fancy Pants was in first class, so he had to go. And I go, I can't let him walk away with that. I go, "Dude, if you have one piece of advice for us, what is it?" And he goes, "Just keep running your mouth. Just never stop running your mouth." And then he goes, "That planche just kill you." And as he said that, he looked at Sammy, actually, because I think he figured from the body types, one is more likely to plancha than the other. And then he left, you know. And then he got on the plane, and we walked past him on the way when we were boarding, said goodbye or whatever. But that piece of advice, man, it really, like, I immediately put it into work. And that was the weekend I won the PWG title for the first time against AJ Styles. And I was talking the whole match, like nonstop. And it really became a staple of my independent career and now into WWE. I think it's actually one of the things people enjoy the most about my work. So it really, and it helped take me to a level that I hadn't attained at that time. So who knows what would have happened if he hadn't given me that piece of advice.
The story was confirmed by Kevin Owens to have happened. Pretty wild stuff. I don't know why it would take Steve Austin telling you learn how to talk to decide to learn how to talk and cut promos. I mean, obviously you're going to take his advice. He's the greatest of all time, but he should not have been the one who give a young, impressionable Kevin Owens that advice. That should have been that should have already been ingrained to him. But I mean, good for them for having that interaction with Steve Austin and Steve Austin telling him that, because Kevin Owens has become one of the best talkers in the business. But like, I think Kevin Owens trained with Jacques Rougeau, like early on in his career. You'd think Jacques Rougeau would have told him learn how to talk. I think Jacques Rougeau probably just wanted to steal his money and just teach him some bumps and send him on this way. It's probably what happened there. Somebody should have took these guys under their wing and told them that, especially when you're in PWG, you're flying internationally, doing all those airports like that. Like, 'cause you're a big deal at that point. Like, I don't care if you're only flying to PWG for a couple $100 and a night at the Motel 6. Like, you're a big deal. So, it just blows my mind that nobody told them, hey, learn how to cut a promo, learn how to talk. Really blows my mind. Really does. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.